Hello friends, welcome back to that 1870s homestead. My name's Rachel, and today we are prepping our sweet potato starts in soil this year. Meaning I've started my slips, so they're just bare roots. And what I have observed, I don't know that it's necessarily 100% true, is even hardening off sweet potato slips, bare root, they seem to like really struggle taking off in the soil, like really slow starters once I transplant them in the garden. So one of my ideas was, let me get them acclimated so it's not quite such a shock with some growing medium in the house while we're in this last final month of waiting to go out in the garden, and get them some mycorrhiza on their roots. Just get them like really comfortable with growing in soil, that when they transplant out, maybe it won't be such a delayed response. So to do that, I am running out of like crazy room back here on my grow shelves. Growing way more tomatoes, way more flowers. I've never grown flowers inside, and I just don't have the space. So I know that there is this method going around. I have never heard of it till this year, but I would imagine it's not new. And that is that snail roll method. And you're supposed to start your seeds that way. But I said, why don't I do it? So I just used craft paper, like packing paper. I keep all that stuff. Do it with when I'm potting up this year. I should have done it with my peppers and my basil, but I didn't think about it. And that's going to save me just a ton of space. So this here is close to 40 sweet potato slips that sit in the size of the palm of my hand. Alrighty, so what I have is just 2 pieces of like craft paper, packing paper. So if you're not keeping your packing paper, keep it. It makes wonderful recycled wrapping paper. I use it often for, but how wonderful is it for this? Toddler crafts, all kinds of things. So I never throw that stuff away. I just unravel it and roll it up into rolls. So now I am scooping on my soil, and it's double layered. So, because craft paper is pretty thin, so I double layered it, like folded it in half on top of itself, and then I am filling half of it widthwise with the soil, and I'm probably going about just under an inch deep. And I have no experience with this. I've just seen the Facebook reels and stuff, so I could be putting the soil on too much. I don't know, but I guess better be, I feel, to be safe than not have enough. I go all the way down, and then I'll come back through and make it all nice and tidy. And this soil has been pre-moistened, so it's ready to go. If you guys have used this method, definitely leave it in the comments below. Like if you found some things on our net like never fails with this method and you can't go wrong with it, versus other things that maybe, yeah, I tried it and I won't try that one again because it works better in containers. Let me know. But I think for me, anyway, the main reason I'm doing it is for space saving in my area that I have to start seeds in the house. And the nice thing about this is if this works, I need to remember to do this next year when I start my seeds. And then you won't have like all the plastic containers to deal with. It's just basically all you need is your soil And this paper is compostable after the fact. I can just throw it into the burn pile or the chicken coop. And so then all I did was I have my jar of sweet potato slips that have all their roots established on them. And I have taken them, and if they are ones like this where there's roots growing off two really good vines, I'm splitting them. So I'm taking the time to go ahead now versus doing this when I go outside and breaking that one off. So I have one start here and one start here. And then any like dead leaves or things like that. And then I was spacing them probably like 2 fingers apart. So I ended up, like I said, I got 35 out of 35 or 40 in that last round. So pretty good system. I hope to have about equal that for this round as well. Some of these though are just like so healthy. Like really healthy. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to get another piece of paper. And maybe you can put these closer together. I don't know. I'm not sure at all. It's like my very first time trying it, so I hope it works. You know, where I saw it first was on Instagram. Row & Co. She tagged me, and she was doing it. And so I thought, well, that is genius. Okay, so I ended up getting 24 in this batch. Now, I mentioned I have this paper folded in half because I'm going to now fold my paper up to the bottom of the soil. And then we're just going to start rolling. And then I was having to kind of hold this while I roll so that it stays in place. And then I made sure that I'm keeping my bottom flat. Oops. No. Don't fall out. Okay. Kind of like cinnamon roll dough, I guess. With plants. Almost to the end. Okay. So now you can see the bottom nice and flat. And then I'm going to stand this up gently. And then I was using packing tape to hold it. All right, I just grabbed another piece of craft paper so I can kind of fix the side that is all falling out. It just got too wet. I guess that's a trick to try not to get your paper wet while you're working with it if you're going to be using paper. I know that they recommend using plastic, but I'd rather not do that. Okay, so this wraps all the way around. Yep, nice and good. And then we will just simply take our paper packing tape and tape that on. Ta-da! That's it. And then this, you know, water is going to really soak through on that. So I'll just set it in the water and it will bottom water from there, and that's how I'll feed it. I probably need to pot up my tomatoes in the next few days anyway, probably the next time that they need watering. And I'm going to do this with potting up my tomatoes. And then the idea is when you're ready to plant, you just roll them out, lift that plant off, and plant it right in the garden. Hardening it off as well. If you're just going to use paper like me, you probably don't want to handle them all that much because, as you can see, the paper gets pretty tender as it gets wet. So we'll just, I think it'll be just an amazing solution for saving space. So if I had to plant that, I mean, I'm talking about a space this big with one of my cell trays of all of those, if not more, if I use solo cups. And I'm getting away with like a 1 square foot space to pot all those up. Pretty cool. I don't know if that recorded at all, so we're going to do that again. This is where they're going. 1 square foot in this little container of 75 sweet potato starts versus in this tray I have 17 individual starts in 2 square feet of space. And I have up here all of our baby tomatoes, probably close to 100 baby tomatoes. So that's 2 more square feet I have right over here in this tray that I can fit 2 more of these green trays with snail rolls of potted up tomatoes. So that's going to be my plan to get around this small space situation that I've got going on. In the past, what I've done, just so you know, if you're interested, we've brought in sawhorses and stood them up on the dining room table and hung our lights from poles over the dining room table. And then I've used my whole dining room table for growing out my starts. But if I don't have to do that this year, because that's like a whole month you're giving up your dining room table, or I would be. If I don't have to do that, I'd rather not. So if you've done the snail roll method, whether starting from seed or using as a potting up technique, leave a comment below. I'm certainly interested. I know others probably are too. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if this didn't work out for you in the past for a certain thing, definitely leave it in the comment below because we can all learn from each other. So I'm really excited. And what I'll just keep doing is watering at the bottom of the trays. I'll just water in as long as the soil feels moist. So I've been doing that probably at least once a week, if not twice a week. All right, thanks guys for coming along. That was super fun. And now I think we're pretty much wrapped up. We got in the previous video, we got our sweet potatoes started for potato vine container pots, and then our sweet potatoes for eating, future sweet potatoes for growing. So until I see, you guys probably won't see an update on these till we go to plant these little snail rolls in the garden. All right, happy growing, happy gardening where you guys are.